Dear friends, a poor milk seller was on his way to Hajj when an incredible miracle occurred, one that astonished people across the globe. But what happened after he drowned in the sea during his journey? This story is sure to strengthen your faith. But before we begin, if you're a Muslim, don't forget to like this video so we can see how many Muslims are watching. Assalamu alaikum, dear respected viewers. This is a true story that took place around 50 years ago. It happened in the city of Lahore, Pakistan, in the year 1974. At that time, a poor young man in Lahore earned his living by selling milk. Every day, he would go door to door, delivering milk to people. That young man had a deep desire in his heart. He wanted to perform Hajj. Every year, when the Hajj season arrived and people either departed for Hajj or returned from it, this milkman would go to meet them. He would speak to them eagerly and even kiss their hands. He had immense love and respect for the pilgrims. One year during the Hajj season, he started asking people, "Brother, how can I go for Hajj?" Someone told him that people depart from Karachi for Hajj. Another person, mocking him, pointed towards the train station and said, "Just get on that train, you'll reach Hajj." The innocent young man believed the words and boarded a train. At one station, he got off and began asking people again how he could go for Hajj. In this way, he started going from one station to another. To be honest, he had carried the desire to perform Hajj in his heart for many years. And this time, he made a firm vow to himself. No matter what, even if he had to walk, he would reach the Kaaba. He remembered that a wise elder had once told him, if someone truly and sincerely desires to visit the Kaaba, then if Allah wills, He will take that person there in miraculous ways. Holding on to that belief, he set out with faith and conviction. That very faith was what inspired him to board the train. As he travelled from one station to another, he learned that people usually departed for Hajj by ship from Karachi. Let me tell you, at that time, going for Hajj by ship was quite popular. One day, a ticket checker on the train noticed the young man. Moved by his innocence and deep devotion to Hajj, the ticket checker felt sympathy for him. The ticket checker told him, "Come, sit with me. I will take you to Karachi." And in this way, one day, the milkman finally reached Karachi. Upon arriving at the Karachi railway station, he began asking people, "I want to go for Hajj. From where do I go?" Someone kindly pointed him toward the Haji camp. Without delay, he made his way there. At the camp, he saw countless people preparing for their pilgrimage, but this poor young man had no ticket, no passport, and not even a bit of money. Still, his heart burned with a deep longing to perform Hajj. One day, an idea struck him. He noticed that the porters who helped carry pilgrims' luggage onto the ship were allowed to board. So he befriended a porter and managed to borrow a uniform. Disguised as a porter, he began helping load the pilgrims' belongings onto the ship. Though his weak and thin frame made others hesitant to trust him, he would plead humbly, "Please let me carry your luggage for free. I love the pilgrims. Kindly place it on my head." And so, under the guise of a porter, he kept boarding the ship again and again. When all the luggage had been loaded, he quietly hid himself in a corner of the vessel. Changing back into his own clothes, he returned the borrowed uniform. While the other pilgrims rested peacefully in their cabins, he remained outside, silently enduring. At one point, he asked a kind man on the ship, "Brother, when will we reach the Jeddah port? Please let me know." When the lights of Jeddah city became visible in the distance, the man pointed and said, "Look over there. Alhamdulillah, after months of journeying, we have reached Jeddah." Hearing this, the milkman climbed onto the ship's railing, gazed longingly at the holy city's harbour, and overcome with emotion, he leapt into the sea without hesitation. He knew he had no passport, and legally he would never be able to leave the ship and enter the Holy Land. And yet, he couldn't even swim. So, as he plunged into the sea, he began to sink, and never surfaced again. The man who had spoken to him earlier looked for him but saw no trace. Realizing what had happened, he sighed with sorrow. thinking, perhaps this was the will of Allah Almighty. After completing the long 1-month Hajj journey, circumambulating the Kaaba, standing in Arafah, visiting Medina, and offering salutations at the sacred grave of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the man eventually returned to Makkah. One day, as he was exiting the holy mosque, he suddenly saw that the same milkman was also walking out from the Kaaba. Surprised, the man asked, "Brother, aren't you the one who jumped into the sea out of joy, even though you didn't know how to swim?" The milkman calmly replied, "Yes, brother, that was me." The man then asked, "But how did you survive? What happened to you?" The milkman said, "Come with me, and I will tell you everything." The man followed the milkman. As they came outside, he saw a shiny new car waiting with a chauffeur. The milkman got into the car and invited the man to join him. They drove into an upscale neighborhood and stopped in front of a grand house. Inside, the milkman welcomed him warmly and asked the caretaker to serve fruits and refreshments. Surprised by such hospitality, the man asked, "Brother, weren't you just a poor milkman without a passport? And now here you are, living a luxurious life in Arabia, with servants too?" The milkman smiled and replied, "Brother, I'll tell you my story soon. But first, know this. The car is mine, and so is this house. Since you know everything about me, I'll share how all this became possible." The milkman began, "There was only one deep desire in my heart, to witness the house of Allah. Because of this intense love, Allah rewarded me. When I reached Jeddah, I said to Allah, 'O Allah, I surrender myself to you. I have no passport, no documentation.' With that, I jumped into the sea. I didn't know how to swim, yet I struggled with my limbs. It was as if the sea waves themselves pushed me toward the shore. Water had entered my lungs and stomach, and I lost consciousness. When I regained my senses, I found myself lying on the seashore. It was deep night, and I was surrounded by iron grills, with the main gate shut. I realized I must have been captured inside an immigration zone. Then I noticed a house nearby with a cow tied to one of its pillars. 2 men were trying to milk the cow, but it kept resisting and wouldn't let them. I gestured to them, trying to say, 'I can do it.' They looked at my face and guessed that I might know how to milk a cow. One of them said, 'If this man can milk the cow, unlock the gate and bring him out.' By the will of Allah, the same sheikh under whom I was initially detained later released me to help milk their cow. I soon learned that the sheikh had a very ill son who needed fresh cow's milk as prescribed by the doctor. So they had bought a cow specially for him. However, despite the cow producing milk, no one could extract it because the animal was extremely aggressive. Neither the sheikh nor his wife could find a way to calm her, and both were visibly upset and frustrated by the situation. When I told them that I could milk the cow, the sheikh's wife intervened and convinced her husband to release me. No one else could even approach the animal. I gently stroked the cow's head, spoke softly in my own way, and to everyone's surprise, the cow calmed down. By Allah's mercy, I was able to milk her. In one sitting, I extracted nearly 8 to 10 liters of milk. The sheikh's wife was astonished, saying they had never managed even half that amount since purchasing the cow. She then said, "Don't let this man leave." Later, I met the sheikh, and he asked, "Who are you, and where have you come from?" I told him everything, that I had come from Pakistan with the intention of performing Hajj, and that I was a poor, helpless man. The sheikh then said, "I won't let you go back. You are excellent at milking." I responded, "I'm willing to work, but if I can't perform Hajj, my heart won't be at peace. That is the very purpose of my journey." They assured me not to worry about Hajj. They would make arrangements for it. The next day, the sheikh's wife called her father and shared the entire story. Her father was the owner of a large cattle farm with around 200 cows and buffaloes. He immediately appointed me as a permanent supervisor for his farm. The sheikh personally drove me to the farm and introduced me. His father-in-law said, "You will stay here and take responsibility for the farm. You'll also train the new workers." When the time came for milking, I managed to milk 20 to 25 cows in a single session. They were shocked and said, "We never imagined it was possible to get this much milk. Our cows have never produced this amount before." They then said, "You will stay here. We won't let you leave. And yes, we'll make sure you perform Hajj." They insisted I stay even when I told them I had a wife and children back home. They said, "Don't worry about that. I've built a new house and I'm giving it to you. And this car you see here, I just bought it and I'm gifting it to you too. Now give me the names and address of your wife and children. I'll send word to them." They promised that in the next ship, my wife and children would arrive within a month. They said, "Your wife and children will arrive within a month on the next ship. You will be able to perform Hajj with them. In fact, if you wish, you can perform Hajj every year." Dear brother, I'm hopeful that within a few months my wife and children will be here with me. I have completed my Hajj. I now realize that the deep longing in my heart to see the house of Allah, that longing and my sole trust in Allah is what brought me here. And it is Allah who blessed me. Allah has given me blessings in this world. And as a reward for the hereafter, He gave me the chance to perform tawaf around His sacred house. I will visit the holy Kaaba every year, insha'Allah. Dear viewers, this story shows us the importance of a pure intention when it comes to Hajj.